Welcome back to the semifinals of this PC here at Next Gen Games in Los Angeles. Super excited because we have Nathan Christmas versus Gavin Michaels. Names that should not be unfamiliar to most of the people here, especially Gavin Michaels. But I'm super pumped because Nathan is running two of my favorite Pokemon ever. So kind of excited for this matchup. They have not yet played, and whoever obviously wins this will be going to finals, and that will be the result of the match between Terry and Giovanni. So super pumped.
Right. So yeah. Well, currently Nathan is undefeated in Swiss and in his previous match, right? In a number of rounds. Yep. So well.
Yeah, well, I mean, and this is actually Gavin's first PC appearance for this season, so probably hoping to just kind of be like, hey, I'm still around, still a threat, especially because I think he also played in Customized last week. So on Nathan's side of the screen, on your left side and your bottom, he will be on the bottom, is Blaziken, Salamence, Porygon 2, Tapu Koko, Aegislash, and Celesteela, and Gavin on your right side will be that Metagross, Landorus, Therian, Tyranitar, Amoonguss, Rotom Heat, I almost said Heatran Heat, but, and Tapu Lele.
Yeah, so interesting teams right here. We see Nathan, he has Blaziken, he has two steel types in Aegislash and Celesteela. He has a Trick Room option, so he can probably sandwich the speed tier. His Mega is most likely, well, I can't tell which Mega he's using, most likely either the Blaziken or the Salamence.
Right.
Gavin's running a rather standard-ish team, except for the Rotom Heat.
Rotom.
Which, yep.
He's bringing the heat, literally. Hey!
Yeah.
I'm full of puns, guys. Just give me the opportunities to use them. Actually, both players locking in really quickly, though. So, kind of just confident in their matchups or understanding their opponent, at least. And again, you know, both players, no one to really sneeze at here. And so, Gavin going to be starting us off with that Landorus there, and then that Rotom Heat, as we've got, I'm guessing this Blaziken and actually Tapu Koko.
Yeah. So, this looks like a very positive matchup for Gavin, I believe. His Landorus can Earthquake and threaten both Blaziken and Koko, especially that when we saw that Landorus is Scarf because it's Intimidate went first before Koko's Terrain. So Gavin is in a good position to Earthquake freely right here, and Rotom has Levitate, so it doesn't really mind getting Earthquake.
I mean, that's just a nice thing to lead with, obviously, because you know that you're going to be free to be able to click that. The hard part is once you lock yourself in with that choice, and it's kind of like the hard thing about it. But well, I'm guessing that's a Celesteela from the nickname. Oh no!
Or something that levitates, right? So just want to deny Landorus from Earthquaking. Of course, Blaziken's probably going for a Protect here just to get the speed boost on the next turn and probably outspeed the Landorus. We don't know how that Blaziken is speedy to in terms of speed, but well, so Gavin going for Thunderbolt on to Salamence, recognizing that if it doesn't go down to Landorus Earthquake, whatever that switches in will probably take a good chunk amount of damage from Thunderbolt.
Yeah, and so we got a lot on the field for you guys as that Koko did switch out for the Salamence, did get an Intimidate into Gavin's Landorus, so so Earthquake will be a little bit less strong next turn when he presses that button, and that Rotom Heat being able to get some Thunderbolt damage into that switch in Salamence as Blaziken goes for the Protect, gets his speed boost, is now at +1 speed and going to be counting as long as it stays around on the field and does not switch out. Potential Mega Evolution from Nathan's side of the field, probably going to be in that Salamence, most likely, just because I think it just doesn't make a lot of sense to bring a Salamence and not make a Mega Evolution, as Gavin switches out that Landorus, goes for the Tyranitar, brings not just the heat, but the sand, so we will be getting the sand stream from Tyranitar, going to be doing a little bit of chip onto all the Pokemon here.
And Salamence goes for its Mega Evolution right here. Interesting switch by Gavin. Instead of like locking himself into Earthquake, decides to switch out. So we see a Z move coming up from Nathan on his Blaziken. So the Blaziken is not actually a Mega Evolution. He's actually carrying a Z move, and
that Firium Z. Oh my goodness, and I thought Rotom was the only one bringing the heat. I'm gonna make so many fire jokes. I am so sorry right now, guys. It's gonna be so great. I'm so excited. Go straight into that what once was that Landorus, now that Tyranitar just takes it so easily like a champ. Just like look at that, how little damage that is, but does leave Nathan free to go for a Dragon Dance on a Salamence, raising that attack and that speed as Blaziken gets another speed boost at the end of this turn. But Rotom H, known most for its Willow Miss. So
yeah, that was, I think it was a good play by Gavin. He recognized that his Landorus was most likely not going to KO that Blaziken and switched out so he can take his Fire Z move. Then I think he probably figured out that Salamence was physical and probably would go for Dragon Dance, so he decided to burn it. But unfortunately for Gavin, the will is missed. Now Gavin's switching out his Tyranitar into that Landorus, trying to intimidate that Blaziken and Salamence, bringing down the Salamence to -1. Blaziken goes for the Rock Slide.
But look at how little damage that does after an Intimidate, as Nathan's Salamence goes for the return. Excuse me, does get changed into Flying type move because of Aerialate. Does an interesting chunk of damage onto that Rotom, not enough to knock it out. Obviously, we're getting to the red. As Will-O-Wisp finally connects onto the Salamence, does get the burn, and you know that HP drop every turn is hard. But what's even worse is that attack stat drop.
Yeah, but well, Nathan has a +1 boost, so that burn kind of negates that. Now he's at kind of like -1. Yeah. Blaziken, well, it's probably intimidated, but I think Blaziken having the Rock Slide is a very good utility for Nathan. He can just stay in and go for flinches if he chooses to. Otherwise, he has to switch out and try to recover his positioning.
Yeah, actually does go for the Protect on this turn, not going to take any damage from anything on Gavin's side of the field, as actually goes for a Roost on Salamence. It's going to be recovering its HP, does lose its Flying type ability, I think, this turn. Does get all that green back.
But Salamence going for a Roost before the Landorus means the Landorus Earthquake can actually damage that Salamence. Ooh, so...
I mean, you know, that's the risk you're always going to run with that Roost, but at least... going to be able to, you know, take that a little bit comfortably because it does lose the Fighting type. Does not take as much damage from this Thunderbolt as it would have. So at least prevents the knockout because of that Thunderbolt, but does lose all the health that it just gained back from that Roost.
Yeah. So Blaziken goes for another speed boost. It's gonna boost its speed all its way up.
So if we had any doubt before that this Blaziken was slower than anything on the field, that is definitely out of the water now. I think this is turn number 4?
Yeah, but the precarious thing about playing with Blaziken is that if you stay too long in the field, your speed goes up, but you get intimidated as turns goes by, so your firepower just goes down.
So as your speed goes up, your attack goes down, and it's just a bad trade.
Yeah, so when playing, I mean, you have to decide whether you want to stay in or you would want to switch out. So we see that Nathan decides to switch out this turn. Yeah, into his Celesteela, knowing that Landorus is locked into Earthquake. Salamence goes for a return onto the Rotom Heat. Not enough to take it out.
But enough to proc its berry, which if you're Gavin, you're just like, thank you for that. That was very nice. But like you said, Gavin locked into Earthquake with that Landorus. They're not going to be able to hit anything on this field at all, allowing Nathan kind of switch in that Celesteela. Oh, not quite so safely.
Yeah. That's quite a good read by Gavin, or I would say, well, maybe he was expecting Salamence to protect or something, so he decided to target that Blaziken slot. But right now that Celesteela taking more than 50% and recovering back with his leftovers, so you can probably take one more hit from Rotom. Oh, that's interesting. Gavin decides to stay in on his Landorus, decides not to switch, even though he can't hit anything on the field. Salamence goes for a Dragon Dance, boosting his attack back to its original stage together with that burn. Rotom goes for an Overheat onto that Celesteela. So, well, that was a rather good play by Gavin. I guess he sort of covers both options, like if Celesteela decides to switch, that Earthquake would probably hit whatever was coming in, and if he decides to stay in, then he would have to take the Overhit.
Yeah, I think what's interesting though is that Nathan decided to go for a Dragon Dance on that turn instead of going for some damage on there. I mean, his Salamence is already in the red, you know, and we know that Gavin's Landorus is locked into Earthquake and has the option to be able to just kind of roost, but won't be able to take those Earthquakes quite as well. But we have Nathan bringing in that Tapu Koko once more, gets the Electric Train up on the field, and, you know, obviously it doesn't help benefit that Thunderbolt from the Rotom because it's levitating, but I think it's just a really tough position right now for Nathan.
Yeah, both his Pokemon, his Blaziken and his Koko, takes super effective damage from Landorus, and it's Scarf too, so it's not able to outspeed. So Nathan here has to go for attacks on Landorus and try to take it out before his Pokemon can actually move.
And yeah, it doesn't actually quite get that knockout with this this return from Salamence. Let's get into the yellow, but now this But now this Tapu Koko out on the field, has burned its protect, and if you're Nathan, then you're gonna click that protect button again. You're gonna cross your fingers and hope you get it.
Yeah.
But this Salamence is literally on its last breath of HP, and Gavin is still sitting at a comfortable 4 Pokemon. We've only really seen him switch out once, and that burn is quite literally and figuratively hurting Nathan.
Yeah. I think the Landers is really detrimental to Nathan's position, so it's his priority to take it out. Wonder why Gavin went for the Thunderbolt on the Koko instead of Salamence.
Actually, so I will
Okay.
I will take this back though. That Dragons that we'd seen from Nathan earlier actually did pay dividends because it made him faster than that Landers and was able to get that knockout, keeping his Tapu Koko in the game. And so getting rid of that really fast, really scary Pokemon on Gavin's side of the field is just a plus for Nathan. And now we have this Blaziken back on the field, and we have Tapu Koko. Gavin has control of the terrain now, though, because Nathan is unable to change it due to the fact that he's on his last 2 Pokemon, can't switch out to Tapu Koko. And now we have Blaziken kind of staring down a Pokemon that is in its terrain and does really good damage onto Pokemon like Blaziken.
Yeah. I think Gavin would want to preserve his Tyranitar, so most likely his priority would go for the Blaziken this turn, so that his Tyranitar can come in and deal with that Koko. But of course Nathan might recognize this, might go for Protects just to get speed boost, get a speed advantage over Gavin's Pokemon. At the same time though, Nathan has to watch out for his Tapu Koko because it might be able to, it might be KO'd by that Lele's Psychic attack.
And Gavin switching out his Rotom for that Tyranitar will be bringing back that Sand mode. So all the Pokemon on this field will be taking additional chip damage at the end of every turn, as, like you said, his Blaziken will be going for the Protect on Nathan's side, wants to get the speed boost up for a couple of turns, and actually his Tapu Koko for a Light Screen. Haven't seen that since St. Louis, where we got a double screen Koko from before.
Yeah.
But the best thing about, the Tapu Lele on second trade is the ability to click that Psyche immunity button and just go for really big, heavy damage. And we have that Shattered Psyche from Tapu Lele. I'm going to do really good damage to, I think, just kind of whatever hits. I think even behind a Protect, this Blaziken's going to take massive damage from it, just because, you've got that stab bonus and you've got the boost from that terrain.
But will it be able to hang on? Oh, it's able to hang on even after the Protect. So, yeah, the light screen, because of the light screen. So the light screen actually helped Nathan in this.
But I think
case.
we lose him. Yeah, we lose it to the Sandstorm.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Nathan, his Blaziken wasn't able to survive the combination of the Sandstorm and the Psychic Z from Lele. And now we have a Tapu Koko that's facing down both Tyranitar and Tapu Lele.
Yeah, and I think, that just kind of shows how much Gavin was thinking ahead, understanding that, hey, this chip damage is going to make a lot of the difference in this game, and if I can just get this Blaziken down to a spot where it will hit, then that's good. And so, Gavin going for this attack to double up into that Tapu Koko, goes for the Psychic and for that Rock Slide, easily cleans up that Tapu Koko, giving game 1 to Gavin Michaels.
Yeah, it was a good positioning by Gavin. I think he recognized that Sandstorm damage would be useful against Blaziken. Right, so usually you wouldn't want to switch in like Tyranitar against a Blaziken, it might go for a low kick, but Gavin recognizing that Blaziken was probably not boosted, so it would want to go for a Protect in order to preserve its speed, preserve itself.
Right,
Yeah.
and so going into game 2 of this top 4, guys, we have Nathan's team once more on your screen. On the left side, Blaziken, Salamence, Porygon 2, Tapu Koko, Aegislash, and Celesteela, and Gavin's team on your right side with Metagross, Lana's Theron, Tyranitar, Amoonguss, Rotom Heat, and Tapu Lele. So adjustments, I think, for that. Whoa, Gavin locking in really fast.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, but of course Nathan will have to make some adjustments here, just to deal with that Rotom and that really fast Landorus. Maybe he could bring his Porygon in just to go for a Trick Room, but of course he has to watch out for that Amoonguss, which can possibly spore everything.
Yeah, and his own Blaziken.
Yeah, and the thing is, Nathan, he has 2 flying type Pokemon, so they can be spored even though his Koko might block it with its electric terrain. So right now we're moving into game 2 of this semi-final at the Los Angeles Premier Challenge number 7.
I think for Nathan, if you're thinking about what type of mode you want to bring, you have to be mindful that there's a lot of Pokemon on your team who kind of conflict each other, who can't support each other as well as they might want to try. Gavin leading with the same 2 Pokemon from game 1 with that Landorus Therian and that Rotom Heat. As we actually get a switch from Nathan, brings in both the Porygon and the Aegislash, both Pokemon we haven't seen from before. Again, though, we do see that Intimidate from the Landorus is going to be going first, knowing that the Choice Scarf haven't been locked in, as that Porygon does get the download.
Yeah, so we know Aegislash, well, it could carry White Guard and block Landorus' attack, and Landorus being Scarf possibly doesn't want to be locked into a spread move when Aegislash has a White Guard. Nathan going for Trick Room here, so well, if Gavin doesn't bring his Amoonguss here, then, well, Nathan might be able to get he might be able to get some advantage by setting up Trick Room.
There you go. Yep. And actually no White Guard from Nathan's side of the field, so I'm not quite sure if he does carry it or not, or doesn't want to reveal it yet. As we do have Landorus locking itself into Earthquake once more, that Aegislash is taking a lot of damage on it because of that super effectiveness, but does activate its weakness policy.
Yeah. So
oh, do we have a double down actually?
Yeah, it's a double, so
it is.
Yeah,
Yikes.
so Aegislash is not going to reveal anything other than
that weakness policy, which didn't quite help it out in the end. But we do have Nathan using Thunderbolt into that Rotom slot. He's not going to be doing that much damage on here. Pretty big for him losing that Aegislash on turn 1. You know,
so that was quite questionable from Nathan, because I would expect him to go for a Trick Room to try to like gain a speed advantage against this one, but he has a Blaziken, so I guess he doesn't really want a Trick Room. He could go for an Ice Beam on the Landorus, but I think he was expecting Gavin to switch out. So I guess, well, maybe Nathan was thinking that Gavin would switch out his Landorus, and so he might be able to survive that overheat from Rotom. That's why he didn't go for that's why he didn't protect. But
we get to switch out this turn on that Landorus, as we have the Tyranitar being switched out for Landorus, bringing in that Sand once more, which was actually really paramount to that Blaziken getting knocked out last turn, and Blaziken on Nathan's side protecting as Thunderbolt once more, from Gavin's Rotom actually going to that protected Blaziken, and Ice Beam this time
onto the Tyranitar, which was once the Landorus slot. So Gavin's in a really good position here, although Nathan might still be able to climb back to get his advantage back.
But there's a Rock Slide, there's a way!
Yeah, well, he could go for Rock Slides trying to get flinches, or he can, well, he has Low Kick, he can target a Tyranitar, but of course he has to watch out for Landorus switching into Nervous attack, as well as probably Rotom trying to go for Thunderbolts and trying to chip it. So
no Mega Evolution though.
Yeah, so China goes for Protect. Oh, Rotom goes for Protect. So both Pokemon protecting this turn. We see Blaziken going for a Rock Slide.
What did I say? With this Rock Slide, there's a way.
Yeah, and Ice Beam. So that's quite an interesting play from Nathan. I think he was expecting a switch, rather.
I mean, I think if you're Nathan on that side, even if you get the Intimidate, at least you can get damage onto some Pokemon here. Now we've got this +2 Blaziken, who can actually protect on next turn if he so chooses to, but Nathan's kind of in a position now for his Blaziken to kind of go after damage. We saw that, last round that Rotom being on the field for so long kind of hurt him in the end, and Gavin's gonna want to kind of check that power that Blaziken can bring, bringing in that Landorus back for that Tyranitar, gets the Intimidate into that Porygon, and more importantly that Blaziken out, because once you start nerfing those attacks and start getting those attacks, like predict that Low Kick, does very pitiful damage on here, as we have a Thunderbolt from that Rotom into this Blaziken.
So Nathan going for a double onto no, he didn't. He Ice Beamed the Rotom slot, expecting Landorus to switch in on the other slot.
I mean, Gavin's kind of understanding his opponent a little bit more. I think he's kind of being one step ahead of Nathan, and Nathan just being forced to continually play catch up at this point.
Yeah, so Nathan, well, he tried to go for reads, like he was expecting Gavin to make switches, but unfortunately Gavin chose like the right slots to switch in, so well, Landorus switching out again, so preserving his Intimidate, he can cycle Intimidate by coming in again.
Double switching actually, as we get Tapu Lele on the field, bringing with it that Psychic terrain, and we did see that last round behind both a Reflect and a Protect, this Blaziken barely survive with that Psychic, the Psyche MZ, but burning this Protect on this turn now means that Gavin is just going to kind of be free to go after that Blaziken unless Nathan decides to switch it out.
Yeah.
and just kind of not a lot of room for Blaziken to be maneuvering in here. And I think that's the hard part about having the speed boosted Blaziken is that you have to play it in a way that you can set up the Blaziken to do kind of its job later on. It still has its Fire MZ, but it's not really quite in a position to be dealing on as much damage as I think Nathan wants it to do. It's been intimidated twice, I think, at this point. It'll be faster than everything on Gavin's side of the field, but can't take a psychic, can't even take a regular psychic at this point from Lele in this range. And this Tyranitar is still pretty bulky, has been able to kind of just take attacks from the Sportgun. We get this Landorus once more from Gavin's side. Gonna hurt
Third intimidate.
Yeah, just gonna intimidate this Blaziken even more. Gonna make it basically nothing in terms of attack.
So I think what Gavin is going for is trying to sponge the Fire MZ attack from Nathan. So we don't know if the Fire MZ will KO the Lele.
It's gonna be almost nothing at this point.
Yeah, I think it's not gonna do anything to Lele. So Lele's in a good position to take out the Blaziken if he decides to go for an attack here. Plus, it had already protected the previous turn, so Nathan has to go for an attack or switch out.
Okay.
And
that makes more sense. That's actually really rough.
Yeah, an unfortunate turn for Gavin. Lele got crit by the Fire MZ and Ice Beam by that Porygon 2, so...
Yeah, so actually Gavin losing both of his Pokemon on this turn. I'm not gonna lie, even with a critical hit, I'm actually surprised that Z-move even still managed to do that. I think we were gonna see sort of an exchange of Z-moves on this side of the field. So Nathan quite not out of it yet.
Yeah, but I guess now Nathan has the option to switch out his Blaziken so he can come in and locate the Tyranitar again. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's hard because then you lose all that speed advantage that you have over both of Gavin's Pokemon on the side of the field. But I think right now, if you're Gavin, just kind of scrambling now because that last turn would have been so important for you to be picking up that knockout on Blaziken, and it would have just been like, whatever Nathan has left against these two Pokemon that you have, and now it's a Pokemon deficit on Gavin's side. Double protecting on this turn, so one on Blaziken's side and one on Tyranitar, as we have the Thunderbolt from Rotom going into that protected Blaziken.
Yeah, so I think Gavin's also trying to claw back right here after that previous turn. He's probably trying to go for a Thunderbolt to get rid of the Blaziken so that his Tyranitar can possibly survive the... Well, as in, I think he wants to get rid of the Blaziken so that his Tyranitar can
doesn't have to worry about the low kick at all,
Yeah. I mean, even with 3 Intimidate stat drops on Blaziken, we still don't know if Tyranitar can still survive because it's still 4 times damage onto that Tyranitar.
Yeah, and it uses your own weight against you, so I mean that's like a really hard thing to kind of just want to go for. Goes for the double protect from Gavin's side, does not quite get it. The low kick does knock out this Tyranitar, even on a -3. That weight of like that Tyranitar is going to work against it at this moment. And this Rotom, which has been thunderbolting into the Blaziken, finally gets a knockout on her. A little bit too little, too late for this. And we have this Ice Beam once more connecting into Gavin's Rotom.
And the freeze.
This is just bad.
Yeah, this is so unfortunate for Gavin. So Gavin's one.
He does have overheat though.
Yeah.
So
Well, he can use the overheat, but he probably doesn't want to lock himself into a move that lowers his special attack, especially with a Porygon that can recover and just sponge all its attack. So things are not looking good for Gavin, unless Gavin gets a crit somehow.
I mean, hey, you never know. I mean, we just saw that critical hit from that Z move onto Tapu Lele, so I mean, anything's possible at this point. This is a game where RNG is going to just be part of it. But we do have the Leech Seed from Celesteela connecting with that Rotom as it stays frozen on Gavin's turn, and this this Porygon 2 going for the Ice Beam again, just going to do a little bit of damage, and going to be Gavin's Pokemon going to be losing damage, not HP, not just from that Leech Seed, but also from the Sandstorm, which he had brought back.
Yeah, so I guess Nathan is just going for pretty safe plays here. He just tries to chip Rotom, and Rotom with no means of recovery is probably going to go down sooner or later.
I mean, I think at this point, obviously, you're going to be Gavin thinking, what am I going to do for game 3? And I think more importantly, you're going to be thinking to yourself, you cannot let all of those bad rolls against you get to your mind, because that's how you automatically lose game 3. If you let the fact that you got crit, that you got frozen, that you didn't get this double protect, if you let all of those things get to your mindset, you're gonna lose automatically. And I think going to game 3, Gavin has to understand that, hey, this was just really, really bad luck for RNG.
Yeah.
But he played it well, and he definitely would have probably like won that game in that turn that he had lost to Tapu Lele.
Yeah.
As we get not quite that knockout yet, but Celestial picking up the knockout on this Rotom as we do go to a game 3 with Nathan winning game 2. And like I said, I think if you're Gavin, the mentality that you go into game 3 is super important.
Yeah. But I guess this is well, Gavin has information about Nathan, so he knows that Nathan has the possibility of bringing his Porygon 2 to go for a Trick Room mode. So well, that might or might not affect Gavin's play here. Well, he might go for the same thing again that worked for him, expecting that this time his luck will be much more favorable. Otherwise, he might decide to switch out, anticipating Nathan to adjust even more to that game before.
Well, and I think, if we're talking about a trick remove from Nathan's side, then Gavin might have to consider bringing that Amoonguss.
Yeah.
I would like to say, I think that Gavin's Sword Pokemon really worked for him. This Tapu Lele especially just kind of deals a lot of damage onto both that Blaziken and that Salamence. And this Landorus just does so much to half of Nathan's team, that Blaziken, that Coco, and that Aegislash. And that Aegislash, on Nathan's side, we barely saw anything from it. Gavin smartly going after it, doubling down on it. But I think it's just going to be a little, like, Nathan actually is like locking in first with Gavin not too far behind as we go into this kind of decisive third match.
Yeah.
And knowing that even at -3 Blaziken still knocks out my Tyranitar, like, that's really important information. And I think despite Gavin losing, that's something you want to know now. Being like, hey, wow, 4 times weak really does mean something, even when you're mega evolved.
Right, so on Gavin's side, he decided to change it up, so we see that Lele and Rotom Heat, whereas on Nathan's side, we see the Blaziken and that Porygon 2.
Just a very good, I think that's a really good adjustment on Gavin's side. Understanding that, hey, Nathan's big heavy hitter on the side is his Blaziken, and Nathan has kind of shown that he's okay leaving Blaziken in situations where it can protect and get the speed boost, but that also now leaves him in the spot where if he has to switch out, Gavin is kind of free to decide what is it going to be switching out to and what can I target down, and Nathan can't quite Trick Room in this situation either, because his Blaziken is going to be obviously at a detrimental end on that side.
Well, one thing that Nathan can do, if he recognizes that Trick Room is beneficial for him, he can switch out his Blaziken and bring something in that can abuse the Trick Room. But I
like
think,
that Celesteela.
Yeah, like the Celesteela, that Aegislash, but he also has to watch out for the Rotom Heat, right? So,
I think just Gavin's leading here is just kind of more beneficial for him, but he does switch out that Tapu Lele for the Tyranitar. And, chip damage is really good damage and can sometimes make a difference between a Pokemon staying alive for another turn and getting knocked out that turn.
Right. Blaziken goes for the Protect, probably doesn't want to take any damage from that any Psychic moves. Porygon 2 going for an Ice Beam onto the Tyranitar, expecting a switch in from Landorus probably. But I think Gavin will be much more careful with switching in his Landorus. He doesn't want to repeat of the previous game where he switched in his Landorus into an Ice Beam. Yeah.
And now we see this Blaziken starting up its strategy that we've seen in the past 2 games, where once it stays in and gets those protects, it just starts getting those speed boosts and just makes it kind of like the scary sweeper on here. And this Tyranitar is on this field here, and I'm not actually quite sure of the speed between this Blaziken and this Tyranitar, but now this Tyranitar is being threatened by that ×4 low kick at a Blaziken that is still at full attack. It has not been intimidated like we've seen before, and Gavin recognizing that threat goes for a protect on it this turn.
Well, Gavin could be baiting that Blaziken so that he can deal damage with his Rotom Heat, which is what he went for. Thunderbolt onto the Blaziken and the critical hit. So, well, luck goes both ways. So,
and it's gonna get knocked out now in this turn because
and because of the Sandstorm, So unfortunate for Nathan, but that's how the game goes, right? You get crits and sometimes.
And sometimes your opponent gets crits. Pokemon might be RNG, but it's also kind of fair sometimes to its players, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think Gavin understanding and recognizing that Blaziken was kind of the crux of Nathan's kind of offensive pressure and going after it so diligently is really smart because he protected that Tyranitar, didn't take the low kick damage on here, and this Porygon 2 might still be on the field, but it is possible to just kind of go after the Porygon on its own. Like that, I think is going to be threatening to any sort of Landorus you have in the back, sure, but now you've got this Tyranitar who's crunching into the Celesteela spot now. Doesn't kind of want to take that Leech Seed sort of stall, and we have the overheat. So this is a case of go after Porygon's allies.
Yeah. So it's looking really tough for Nathan. Both his Pokemon are down. He's down 2 now with Porygon and something else at the back, whereas Gavin still has all 4 of his Pokemon.
I actually kind of appreciate the move from Gavin going after that Celesteela, because at that point I think he recognized, oh hey, Porygon's going to go for that Trick Room now that Celesteela is next to it. Let me just stop this Pokemon that can benefit from it. Because if you can't take out the Porygon, you take out the Pokemon that benefits from the Trick Room that it's going to set up.
Yeah. I think it's also difficult for Nathan because most of his team has some trouble with Rotom Heat. So he doesn't have anything that can hit for super effective, barring a Rock Slide, but of course Rock Slide is not stab on Blaziken. And so really tough position for Nathan, especially when he's down 2 Pokemon, and now that he's in Trick Room, most likely the Tyranitar and the Rotom Heat are faster than his Salamence.
Right, and then, the hard part too is, like, we've seen Nathan have Dragon Dance on his Salamence, and obviously that helps boost your attack, but now you're not going to be in a position where you want to Dragon Dance, because then you're going to squeeze your speed and give Gavin more of a speed advantage. So we have the Will-O-Wisp from Rotom once more, connecting on its first try with the Salamence, gets the burn, just kind of nukes that damage on here, as Tyranitar goes for a Rock Slide on Gavin's side, and maybe fishing for some of those critical hits, does some good damage on that Salamence, as it actually goes for Roost, going to recover that HP that it just lost.
Yeah, it's a tough position for Nathan because Gavin, he can just go for very rather safe plays and try to just chip both his Pokemon until the Trick Room runs out, then he can bring in his other Pokemon to attack. At the same time, Porygon 2 isn't doing enough damage to both Tyranitar and Rotom. He has Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, which kind of is resisted by Rotom's typing, as well as Tyranitar having that special defense boost under Sandstorm.
Yeah, and I think we're just like in this awkward position now because Gavin's going to want to stall out those Trick Room turns, whereas Nathan's going to try to get as much damage as he can from that Porygon too, and make sure it's still around just in case, like just for that Landorus in the back potentially. So we do have Mega Salamence from Nathan's side, and we're beginning early in places that Intimidate. No point in being able to Intimidate cycle now, as that Rotom goes for a Thunderbolt into the Salamence slot. Into some okay damage on there, and Rock Slide once more from Gavin's Tyranitar, connecting with both Pokemon. Gonna do some good damage on that. Salamence. Goes for the Dragon Dance, already the slowest thing on the field, so probably, Nathan, if he's going to try to be saving his Salamence for a past Trick Room, is going to want to set it up to be as fast as possible.
Or he can reboost his Trick Room so he can use Dragon Dance the next turn.
I don't know why we didn't realize that it was reversing Trick Room because it didn't go first. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so, well, this is a last-ditch moment for Nathan trying to get the speed advantage so that he can deal enough damage to both of Gavin's Pokemon, but it's Burn, and its only attack is probably Return, as we've seen.
Yeah.
There's no Hyper Voice, so, well...
No, we've seen all forward smooth.
So there's no Hyper Voice, so its only attack is Return, and it's got Burn, so... Gavin furthering, neutering that Salamence by going for Intimidate. Oh, but Salamence goes for a Roost, so it's not going to take super effective damage from that Rock Slide.
Right, and
Tyranitar goes for his own Dragon Dance.
Hey, I mean, you know what? If you're Gavin, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna set it up so I can just take care of these Pokemon, because that's really frustrating to try to have to go after. As Nathan uses Ice Beam, just not on the Pokemon that he'd want to use Ice Beam on. Goes after that Tyranitar, gets no freeze on this time, and this Porygon 2 has the potential to go after Gavin's own Pokemon now with that Ice Beam, but now Nathan going for a third Dragon Dance, gonna be at +3 attack and I think and +3 speed, so gonna negate a little bit. Sorry, +2 attack now because of that Intimidate from earlier. But superpower from this this Landorus going into that Porygon 2 is gonna be knocking it out. No more threats of Ice Beam from Nathan's side of the field as Tyranitar
goes for Crunch. Yep, 100% move so it doesn't miss.
Right,
and now Nathan's staring down 2 Pokemon against his Salamence.
Yeah, and so Nathan recognizing that it's a 1v4 right here with that burn on as well, meaning Gavin Michaels is going to be going to the finals of this PC, and we actually will be back very soon with your finals match. It'll be Gavin Michaels versus Terry Hong.
Yeah, so we got news that Terry just won his semi-final match, so we'll be seeing Terry versus Gavin in our finals.
It'll be quite fun. I mean, because there's actually like kind of no farm speed control on Gavin's side of the team and all of it on Cherry's. So we will see you guys in a little bit for the finals. Don't go anywhere. You get to see the Striped Pikachu, me, and Sean. So see you guys in a little bit finals.